Congress has designated the last Monday in May of each year as a day to honor those who've died in military service to our nation. My friend Katie Oates and I offer this remembrance in honor of the 1.3 million Americans who have made that ultimate sacrifice. On this Memorial Day, let me tell you a story about my family, war, death, and remembrance. My mother kept a scrapbook, a loose-leaf binder with transparent pages slotted to hold photographs and such. In it are pictures of her with a teammate in their high school basketball uniforms, her and Dad in some formal and some frivolous poses, me as a youngster, and my son Jonathan as a toddler. Also in it is a letter from my father, written in pencil on lined paper and dated October 25th, 1944. He was a seaman second class aboard the USS St. Lo. Wartime restrictions didn't permit him to say where. With both Christmas and my third birthday coming up, he wondered what gift I might like. An electric train, maybe. Or had I entered the cowboy phase? He guessed that his brother Bud, a ship's cook on the submarine Shark, might be somewhere near him. Again, he couldn't say where. After a couple of pages, he said he couldn't think of anything else to write. So he assured Mom he was okay and said farewell. The letter was postmarked October 30th. Dad must have been wrong about the date, because on October 25th, 1944, the St. Lo was off the coast of the Philippine island of Samar, engaged in the largest naval battle in history. The 4-day Battle of Leyte Gulf was fought over 100,000 square miles of ocean and involved more than 1,800 airplanes and 800 ships, including the largest warships ever built. Japan had massed its naval forces for a desperate effort to repel the Allied drive to liberate the Philippines. The effort failed. After taking heavy losses, the Japanese fleet retreated to its home waters and saw little action for the remainder of the war. The St. Lo was an escort carrier, a class of ship called a baby flat top, because at 498 feet in length, its flight deck was just over half the length of the faster, better armored fleet carriers. For their, quote, extraordinary heroism in action against powerful units of the Japanese fleet, the men of the St. Lo received a Presidential Unit Citation. But the battle had ended in disaster for the St. Lo. As the Japanese fleet was retreating, it launched the first kamikaze attacks, Japanese pilots flying their planes to crash onto American warships. The St. Lo was the first ship sunk by a suicide attack. It went down a half hour after a fighter crashed onto its deck, igniting massive explosions. Of the 889 men aboard, 113 were killed or missing, and some 30 others died of their wounds. Dad was among the survivors. Dad had been right. Uncle Bud was in the area. On October 24th, the submarine Shark torpedoed the Japanese freighter Arasan Maru, but then was hit by depth charges from a Japanese destroyer. All 87 men aboard were lost. My Uncle Bud was 18 years old. On every Memorial Day, I think of my dad who barely escaped death, and my Uncle Bud who was lost at sea. Bud's among the more than 1.3 million Americans who have died in military service since our nation's founding. Looking back, Some of the conflicts they fought in seemed just and necessary, and others seemed misguided, even foolish. But regardless of how history judges their wars, they gave their lives in service to their nation. On this Memorial Day, we honor their sacrifice.
This may be my last letter. I may never see the cotton fields of home again. I miss you, dear sister. Tonight I never felt so all alone. So thick that the Stones River stars could scarcely invade the dread and the dark, and all that I could see when I closed my eyes to dream was home, sweet. In the camps of round forest, the midnight coals were glowing through the haze. The Union boys sang Hail Columbia. Then we sang Look Away. Away. Then a hush in the rain, and there rose a sweet refrain in the dark before the dawn. And instead of battle songs, the enemy and we all sang the melody of home, sweet home. So if this is my last letter, and I never see the cotton fields of home again, if I fall here at Stones River, I pray that God will bear away my soul. And I'll wait for you there, where all is bright and fair, where the light of God's face outshines the blue and gray, where all of humankind, yes, all of humankind will find home. Sweet